Now, on to the boom bap. And actually, this one's going to bring in a couple of different ideas, including quantizing and swing that we really haven't gotten into. Um, and kind of humanizing your drawn in grid based drum patterns. So, I want to start by just playing this drum beat. And, I probably wouldn't have called this boom bap, except that's kind of what it's referred to. It's just old school hip hop, really. The drum kit may not be perfect for it, but I'm using session drums in Expand. What I'm playing this because it's the basic drum beat, but I've done a few things with it that I think really do change it significantly. So listen to this again, and then I'm going to play this, which if you look at it, it's exactly the same, except for this little snare roll leading into beat 3. Check this out. And then listen to this one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and change my grid from 16ths to 32nds. I'm going to put in that snare roll, okay? So we'll listen to this again. Now all the notes are exactly the same. And we'll listen to this one. Okay, it's getting closer. Let's play with velocity, because that's really what's going on here. So I wanted to raise my kicks. Not all the way, because I didn't like how they were sounding, but pretty close. And then I want these first drum hits, or the first kick hits in the double hit, to be a bit lower. I'll go 10, maybe even more, just to kind of make a point. And the reason, again, for this is when you're playing drums and you're hitting the kick drum pedal for a double hit like that, you will always, for the most part, be hitting that second one a bit harder. It's the technique. It's how the foot falls in order to get these quick hits. So I'm going to do that even a bit more. Not much. Then I am going to bring up my snare drums. Not all the way. These two, though, I am going to lower. And I'm going to lower the first one more than the second one. Maybe a bit. Okay. And finally, I am going to take my first, third, fifth, and seventh eighth note on the hi-hats and raise them a bit compared to the even numbered hits, 2, 4, 6, and 8, and bring those up a bit. Okay, so this is just what velocity can do to it. All right, and if we listen to that in a loop. Now, let's take a look at quantizing. Now, quantizing, kind of by definition, means moving notes to the nearest grid value. So if we had played this on a keyboard, for example, and our snare drums were a little late and our kick was a little early, let's make these 16th notes so you can really see that this is late, this is late, and this is early. If you come up to event operations and quantize, you get this window here that is your quantize window. So essentially, what is it that you want to quantize? We want to quantize the note on. When is the note actually hitting? And if we quantize it to 16th notes, you're going to see these two snare drums and this kick drum move to the nearest grid value. So I'll hit apply. Actually, I had those highlight. I need to highlight, sorry. Okay. It also took this 32nd note and moved it because it's a 32nd note. But I don't want that to happen. So if I just highlight the notes that I want to quantize, then they move. Okay. The problem with quantizing sometimes, if you're close, it's good. But let's say I was really early with that kick drum, and where I want it to go is to the 4th 16th note. Unfortunately, it's going to go to the 3rd. Okay, which, for the most part, we have been drawing in, especially this year. So, we're using grid mode that is quantized. Now, quantizing also gives you a very robotic feel. Now, we're fixing that, or we're addressing it at least, partially with velocity. Something else we can do is what's called swing. So if we come to options and we put in swing, and it's going to default to 100%, that would be a little heavy, but let's do it for the sake of doing it. I am going to quantize to 32nd notes. No, I'm not. Let's see. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to unhighlight these two because they are 30 seconds and I don't want to do that. So let's quantize to 16ths with 100% swing. And you can see how off these all went. Let's hear what that sounds like. It's kind of groovy, but it's not going to work for us. Because it literally threw this one off. But let's see what it sounds like if I just highlight this as our loop length. I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to lower this swing percentage to about 20-ish, 22. And I'm going to leave my 30-second notes off again. Okay, and we see just some slight changes, really mostly in the kick. And then I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to grab my 30-second notes, change these to 30 seconds, and do my 22% swing, which just spreads them out slightly, which is making the second one just a little bit later, which is, again, human. Now I'm going to try a third thing, which is I'm not going to use swing on this. I'm going to offset the grid by, let's put it by 10 ticks. All right, so what I'm hoping, let's zoom in and see if we can see this move. Just put that a little bit late. Just put it a little bit late, okay? So we're talking 10 ticks late, which is not a lot, but it was enough to throw our grid off, but I'll show you how we can deal with that. All right, so that kind of gives us some more additional humanizing. One last thing, and because this was, moved a little bit, we can go into slip mode and shorten it because it doesn't matter how long it is. And that will give us the ability that we could now bring in our clip length. I'm going to take my hi-hats, go back into quantize, and this time I'm going to randomize by about 10% just to see where these move us. Okay, did you see that? So some are early, some are late, which again, human. All right. So that is I think it's a very important element as you get further and further along, that I just want to take my drums, I want to take my instruments and humanize them. And so what we've done here is we've done a couple things. Quantizing with randomization, quantizing with swing, and even offsetting the grid so that those snares came in just a bit late-ish. All right, let's call that a vid.